The gavel slammed down like a judge's verdict, echoing through the empty auditorium, and I felt my world crack open right there on the stage. "Ezra Hayes, you're a thief," Mr. Hargrove spat, his voice slicing the air thicker than the Texas humidity outside, while the debate club kids, my so-called friends, leaned in like vultures, their eyes hungry for blood. But it was Damien's face in the front row that gutted me, his blue eyes narrowing not with shock, but with something colder, like he'd known all along and waited for this moment to let me fall. I never meant for it to go this far. Back when it started, in the sticky heat of sophomore year at Ridgeview High in Austin, all I wanted was to make Damien see me. Not as the quiet kid fumbling through debate rounds, but as someone worth holding on to. We'd met in the club, of course. Debate team, the nerds who argued for a living, turning hypotheticals into battlegrounds. I was the one scripting the rebuttals, the invisible glue keeping our cases airtight. Damien? He was the star, the golden boy with the easy smile and the way he commanded the room. His voice wrapping around words like justice and equality until even the judges forgot to breathe. He was out and proud, the only one in our conservative corner of Texas who wore it like a badge, and I envied that fire in him. Me? I was still buried in the closet, door bolted shut with my dad's Bible verses and my mom's worried glances. Our first real conversation happened after a loss against that smug team from Dallas. We were packing up the van in the school parking lot, the sun dipping low and painting everything orange, like the whole world was on fire. "You carried us tonight, Ezra," Damien said, tossing me a water bottle. His fingers brushed mine. Accidental, sure, but it sent a jolt straight to my chest. I mumbled something about the closing argument sucking, but he just laughed, that low rumble that made my stomach flip. "Nah, it was perfect. You're the brains. I'm just the charm." By the time we hit the highway back to Austin, he convinced me to grab Whataburger, and over fries drowning in ketchup, he told me about his life. The move from California after his parents split, the asshole ex who'd outed him to half the school back in LA. "But hey," he said, dipping a nugget, "Texas ain't so bad. Got brisket and boys who blush easy." I nearly choked, heat crawling up my neck, but he just grinned wider, like he'd spotted the truth I'd been hiding since middle school. That night, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling fan whirring lazy circles, replaying his words. Blush easy. God, he knew. Or maybe he didn't, and I was projecting my own mess onto him. Either way, sleep didn't come easy. The next week at practice, I pushed harder, sharpening our attacks on topics like resolved, affirmative action discriminates against white males, twisting logic until it bled fairness. Damien noticed. After one session, as we lingered in the empty classroom, posters of past champions peeling at the edges, he leaned against my desk. "You're on fire lately, Hayes. What's the secret?" I shrugged, heart hammering. "Just inspired, I guess." He held my gaze a beat too long, then nodded. "Good. We need that. Inspired. Yeah, that's one word for it. Obsessed is probably closer." By November, we'd fallen into this rhythm. Late-night texts about case strategies that veered into personal territory. His favorite indie band, my hidden love for old westerns. Then came the first gift. I'd saved up from mowing lawns in our neighborhood, the kind where the rich folks on the hill paid kids like me to pretend their yards weren't already perfect. A vinyl of the Nationals boxer. He'd mentioned it offhand once. I slipped it into his debate binder during a tournament in San Antonio, anonymous at first. But he knew. "Ezra," he texted that night. "This is the shit. How'd you know?" I played it cool. Psychic. From there, it escalated. A leather-bound notebook for his speeches. Custom debate timers etched with his initials. Each one chipped away at my savings until I was scraping bottom. But seeing his eyes light up, worth every skipped meal. Christmas loomed like a storm cloud. Damien's family was barely scraping by. His mom waitressing doubles at a diner off I-35. His little sister hounding him for American Girl dolls they couldn't afford. Mine? Dad was a mechanic, hands black with grease, preaching self-reliance from the pulpit of our Baptist church every Sunday. God helps those who help themselves, son. Mom baked pies for neighbors, her smile hiding the stack of medical bills from her lupus flare-ups. We weren't rich, but we had enough, except I wanted more. For him, I wanted to be the guy who made his holidays magical, not another worry on his plate. So I borrowed. Not from a bank, nothing that official. From the club. The debate team's petty cash fund, tucked in a lockbox under Mr. Hargrove's desk. We'd raised it from car washes and bake sales, earmarked for tournament fees and hotel rooms. I told myself it was temporary, a loan. I'd pay it back from my next gig, maybe flip some stuff on eBay. The first dip was small, $200 for a silver chain necklace. Simple but engraved with "Fight On," our team's motto. I left it on his porch with a note. For the warrior who never quits. Merry Christmas, E. He wore it to our holiday scrimmage, fingers tracing the pendant absent-mindedly, and when he caught me staring, he winked. Secret Santa's got taste. Emboldened, I went bigger. January tournament in Houston. $400 for a weekend getaway voucher to a cabin in the hill country. I'd forged the receipt later, but in the moment, sliding that envelope under his windshield wiper in the school lot, my hands shook. He called me that night, voice husky over the line. Ezra, this man, I don't know what to say. There was a pause, heavy with unspoken things. Come with me. My breath caught. When? Next weekend. Just us. We drove up Saturday dawn, the truck's radio humming Wilco as the city faded to scrubby hills dotted with live oaks. The cabin was rustic, with stove, creaky porch overlooking a creek, but it felt like ours. We hiked trails slick with winter mud, talked for hours about everything and nothing. His fear of turning out like his dad, who bailed when things got real. My terror of admitting who I was to my family, the church youth group that had branded gay as the devil's whisper. That night, by the fire's glow, he kissed me. Soft at first, tentative, like testing if I'd pull away. I didn't. I leaned in, tasting salt and smoke, my world narrowing to the press of his lips, the way his hand cupped my jaw. It wasn't fireworks. It was a dam breaking, years of silence flooding out in whispers and touches that stayed sweet, reverent. I've wanted this, he murmured against my neck. Since that Whataburger run. We fell asleep tangled on the rug, the stars wheeling overhead through the skylight, and for the first time I felt seen. Whole. But reality crept back like kudzu. The fund dipped lower. $300 here for spring break tickets to a Kings of Leon concert in Dallas. $150 for a monogrammed leather jacket that hugged his frame like it was made for him. Each time, I'd replace what I could with crumpled fives from odd jobs. But the math never added up. Mr. Hargrove started grumbling about budgets. Audits looming like storm fronts. Still, Damien's gratitude fueled me. You're my good luck charm, he'd say, pulling me into alcoves between classes for stolen moments. Fingers laced under tables, knees brushing in the club van. We kept it quiet, mostly. Austin was progressive for Texas, but Ridgeview High clung to its southern roots. Whispers of fairy, still sharp as switchblades in the locker room. By April, the hole was $1,200 deep. I'd pawned my grandfather's watch, the one Dad gave me after his heart attack, telling myself it'd be the last. The gift? A promise ring, silver band etched with coordinates of that hill country creek. I presented it during a rain-soaked picnic at Zilker Park, the city skyline hazy through the downpour. Ezra, he breathed, slipping it on. This means, he trailed off, eyes shining. Everything. We made plans, graduation, then community college together, building a life away from prying eyes. For a week, it was bliss, until the gavel fell. The auditorium smelled like old varnish and regret, the kind that sticks to your skin like sweat after a losing round. Mr. Hargrove paced the stage, his loafers clicking like accusations, while the club treasurer, that prissy junior Lila, waved printouts like flags of surrender. The discrepancies started in December, she said, voice pitching high with righteous fury. Car wash money, bake sale profits, all gone. The others murmured. Jake with his crossed arms, Sarah twisting her bracelet. But it was Damien who stayed silent, his jaw set, that ring glinting on his finger like a taunt. I opened my mouth, but nothing came. How do you explain love to a room full of logic? It was borrowed. I finally croaked, the word tasting like ash. Laughter rippled, bitter and short. Borrowed implies intent to return, Ezra, Hargrove snapped. This is theft. We're talking police. Expulsion. My knees buckled. I gripped the podium, the wood cool under my palms. Flashes hit me. Damien's laugh on that cabin porch, the way he'd trace patterns on my back in the dark. And now, this, they voted on it right there, democratic as a lynching. Hands shot up for reporting me, 8-3. Damien stayed down, folded in his lap, but his eyes, God, his eyes drilled into me. A mix of hurt and something sharper, like betrayal had teeth. You have one chance to explain, Hargrove said, leaning in. Why? The truth clawed up my throat, but I swallowed it. Admit I did it for him? That it'd make me the villain who dragged his name through the mud? No. Personal reasons, I muttered. Family stuff. Lies, all of it, but they bought enough to adjourn, promising a meeting with the principal Monday. As they filed out, whispers trailing like smoke, Damien lingered. My truck. Now. The parking lot was a ghost town. Sodium lights buzzing over rows of beat-up F-150s and hand-me-down Hondas. Rain slicked the asphalt, turning the world reflective and warped. He unlocked the passenger door without a word, and I slid in, the cab still warm from his drive over. Silence stretched, broken only by the wiper's rhythmic thwack. Finally, he turned, the dashboard glow carving shadows on his face. The necklace, the cabin, the ring. Each word landed like a punch. That was club money? I nodded, throat tight. I thought I could pay it back, before anyone noticed. His laugh was hollow, echoing off the windows. Pay it back? Ezra, we raised that for nationals. For all of us. He raked a hand through his hair, the chain I'd bought him catching the light. Why didn't you tell me? Could've. Shit, I don't know. Helped. Helped. The word stung. Like I was some charity case, not the guy who'd kissed him under hill country stars. Because it was for you, I whispered. To make you happy. Your family, the holidays, you said it was rough. I wanted to fix it. Tears burned, hot and unbidden. He stared, then reached out, thumb brushing my cheek. For a second, I thought he'd forgive, pull me close like always. But he pulled back, eyes hardening. You think stealing makes me happy? Dragging us both down. The cab felt smaller, air thick with unsaid accusations. Damien, please. I love you. The words tumbled out, raw and desperate. The first time I'd said them aloud. He flinched like they'd burned. Love? This isn't love, Ezra. This is desperation. He popped the door, rain gusting in. I need space. Figure this out. Then he was gone, boots splashing into puddles, leaving me curled against the seat. The ring's ghost weight on my finger mirroring his. Monday blurred into a nightmare. Principal's office. Stern lectures on integrity. Forms for restitution. My parents got the call. Dad's face when he picked me up from school. Thundercloud dark. Son, he said in the truck, voice gravel rough. What in God's name? Mom cried in the kitchen that night, bills scattering like confetti as she hugged me. We could have helped, baby. Why hide? Church loomed larger, youth group eyes judging from afar. And Damien? Radio silence. No texts, no glimpses in the halls. The club met without me, Hargrove's email crisp. Suspended until repayment. I threw myself into fixes. Mowed every lawn in a 5-block radius. Even the Widow Jenkins overgrown mess that hid copperheads. Flipped garage sale junk online, old radios, faded Levi's, netting maybe $300 by week's end. But it was drops in an ocean. Nights, I'd drive to Zilker, sit on that picnic bench where I'd given him the ring, rain or shine, willing him to show. He didn't. Instead, memories haunted. Our first debate win. Him hoisting me on his shoulders in the hotel lobby, cheers drowning the fear. Or the concert, bodies pressed in the pit, his hand finding mine in the dark, anchoring me through the roar. By May, desperation clawed deeper. Nationals loomed, our shot at glory, and the club buzzed without me, fund rebuilt through emergency drives. I heard whispers. Damien leading practices, his speeches sharper, like anger honed his edge. Lila cornered me once in the library, her ponytail swinging like a pendulum. He misses you, you know, but trust? That's shattered. I nodded, burying in books, but her words lodged like shrapnel. Then the betrayal hit. It was Jake who spilled it, cornering me after English. Dude, you hear? Damien's pitching your story to Hargrove. For the ethics round. My blood froze. What? Jake shrugged, awkward pity in his eyes. Says it's real-world drama. The cost of hidden motives. He's framing it like you used him. The world tilted. Used him? After everything? I confronted him that afternoon, bursting into the auditorium mid-practice. They were mid-drill, voices overlapping in controlled chaos. Damien! My shout cut through, head swiveling. He paused, marker in hand on the whiteboard. Not now, Ezra. But I advanced, heart pounding like bass drums. Ethics round? You're turning my fuck-up into your prop. Gasps rippled. His face flushed, but he held steady. It's a case study. Hypothetical. Bullshit. I shot back, voice cracking. It's me. Us. The room went tomb silent. Hargrove cleared his throat. Outside. Both of you. In the hall, under flickering fluorescence, Damien exploded. You think this is easy? The whole team's asking questions, why the money vanished when we started. Whatever this was. He gestured between us, vague and pained. I have to protect them. Protect me. By selling me out? Tears stung again, furious now. I did it for you. He stepped close, breath mingling. And I told you that's not love. It's control. His words landed like the gavel, final. He walked away, leaving me slumped against lockers. The echo of his boots my undoing. That night I drove to the creek. Alone. The cabin voucher burned in my pocket. I'd bought it back from a pawn shop with my last savings. But without him it was just wood and memories. I sat on the bank, water murmuring secrets, and let it out. Sobs racking until my ribs ached. Dawn crept in, pink and unforgiving, and I knew I had to end it. Not us. The lies. Graduation caps sailed like blackbirds into the June sky over Butler High's football field. Wait. No, Ridgeviews, with its faded turf and chain-link fences rattling in the breeze. I walked the stage in a blur, diploma heavy as judgment. Mom's proud tears clashing with Dad's stiff nod. Damien was 3 rows over, his name called sharp and clear. The crowd's applause polite thunder. Our eyes met once, across the sea of gowns. His soft, almost apologetic, before he looked away. The ring? I'd slipped it off weeks ago, mailing it anonymous to his house with a note. Keep fighting. No signature. Clean break. Summer dragged. Austin's heat a smothering blanket. I worked doubles at the local Sonic, roller skating orders under neon signs, tips barely denting the restitution. $800 left to pay the club, Hargrove's leniency. Thank God. Keeping it internal to avoid my record. Nights, I'd cruise Barton Springs, the cool spring water a balm on sunburned skin. But solitude bit harder. Friends faded, too messy, too queer for their comfort zones. Even the debate kids ghosted. Hargrove's final email a polite severance. Focus on your future, son. Damien tried reaching out once, mid-July. A text at 2 a.m. Missed the creek. Sorry doesn't cut it, but, yeah. I stared at it till the screen dimmed, thumb hovering. Part of me wanted to rage, to demand why he'd twist our story for points. But the bigger part ached for the boy who'd kissed me like I was salvation. I typed back, miss you too, but trust goes both ways. No reply. I deleted the thread, but it lingered like a bruise. College loomed, community college for me, Austin CC, undeclared major and a work-study gig in the library. Damien? He'd scored a partial ride to UT Poli-Sci, dreaming of law school and changing the world. Fitting. The golden boy, ascending. Me? I was the cautionary tale, piecing scraps into something resembling a life. Coming out happened in fragments. First to Mom, over weak coffee in our linoleum kitchen. Her hug fierce despite the tears. God's got room for all of us, baby. Dad took longer, gruff silences turning to reluctant questions over backyard barbecues. As long as you're honest now, he grunted one night, flipping burgers. Honesty. The word mocked me. Fall semester hit like a freight train. Campus buzzed with fresh faces. Rainbow flags fluttering from dorm windows. The air electric with possibility. I joined a queer alliance group. Tentative at first, sharing stories in circle chairs that smelled like stale pizza. I stole for love, I confessed one night, voice steady for the first time. Laughter, then nods. We all fuck up for it. No judgment. Just space to breathe. Classes grounded me, rhetoric, ethics, dissecting arguments I'd once wielded like weapons. Irony tasted bitter, but it sharpened me. Then, October. A debate tournament flyer on the Union Bulletin Board. UT Invitational open to all. My pulse spiked. Skip it, the smart voice said. But the pull? Magnetic. I signed up solo, no team, just me against the world. Prep consumed weeks. Nights in the library stacks. Coffee-fueled marathons rebuilding cases on themes like vulnerability in leadership. Vulnerability. Yeah. The event was in UT's sprawling student center. Marble halls echoing with accents from across the state. I spotted him early, Damien, anchoring the host team, clipboard in hand, that easy command radiating. Our eyes locked mid-check-in. He froze, then nodded, tight-lipped. Hayes. Ramirez. Formal as strangers. But during rounds, I watched from the back. His style evolved. Less flash, more depth, weaving personal anecdotes into closers that left judges rapt. Pride swelled, unbidden. He'd grown. My turn came in the quarterfinals. Affirmative on resolved. Personal sacrifice strengthens community bonds. I poured it all in. The hook of a boy borrowing dreams from his tribe. The climax of shattered trust. The resolution in mending alone. The room hushed as I closed. Sacrifice isn't theft if it teaches us to give back wiser. It's the scar that proves we lived. Applause thundered. I advanced. Semis. Against him. The draw was fate's cruel joke. Topic. Betrayal as catalyst for growth. We faced off across podiums. The audience a blur of faces. He opened strong, voice steady. Betrayal erodes foundations, leaving rubble where trust once stood. Counter after counter. Our old rhythm twisted into something fierce. Him probing my defenses. Me parrying with truths we'd never voiced. Midway he faltered, eyes flicking to mine. The betrayer claims love, but love doesn't demand silence. My rebuttal burned. Nor does it weaponize pain for applause. Judges deliberated an eternity. Final round him by a hair. But in the handshake line his grip lingered. That was you. Backstage, as awards loomed, he pulled me aside, into a alcove strung with fairy lights. I've been an ass. That ethics thing? Pulled it. Couldn't go through with it. Shock rippled. Why? He exhaled, shoulders slumping. Scared. Of what it meant, us exposed. But mostly, scared of losing you without fighting. His hand found mine, tentative.
I'm sorry, Ezra.
For real. The air hummed, charged like pre-storm ozone. I searched his face. The boy I'd stolen for, the man he'd become. Me too. For the lies. For thinking gifts fixed what words couldn't. He stepped closer, forehead to mine. Words now? I love you. Have since Whataburger. Laughter bubbled, breaking the tension. Fries and all. Awards called him up. Best speaker naturally, but he dragged me on stage after, mic in hand. This one's for my partner in crime, literal and otherwise. Ezra Hayes, who taught me sacrifice's real shape. Whistles erupted, the crowd a wave of acceptance. Offstage, in the crush, he kissed me. Public, unapologetic, tasting like victory and second chances. Winter settled gentle that year. We rebuilt slow. Coffee dates morphing to weekend drives. The hill country calling us back. That cabin? Ours now, legitimately funded by pooled tips and scholarships. No more secrets. I paid the club final in November. Hargrove's gruff handshake sealing absolution. Growth, son. That's the win. Damien's mom hosted Thanksgiving. Turkey drying under her watchful eye. His sister quizzing me on superheroes. My folks came too. Dad carving with awkward jokes. Mom's pie the peace offering. Around the table, stories flowed. My tournament run, his poli-sci dreams. Toasts to honesty, to scars that shine. New Year's on that creek bank. Fireworks popping over Austin's skyline. He slipped the ring back on my finger. Upgraded, paid for with his own sweat. Fight on, I echoed. Always. We stood there, arms linked, the water whispering futures. Love isn't gifts or grand gestures. It's the quiet showing up, day after scarred day. In the heart of Texas, we'd carved our own America. One honest heartbeat at a time.